I want to replace the Labour Party and make UKIP the patriotic voice of working people.
UKIP says it will take the fight to Labour in its very heartland, places like the north of England, places like here in Barnsley, where 70% of people voted for Brexit, and where in the last general election UKIP came a strong second in 2 of the town's parliamentary seats. The town's motto, it means judge us by our actions.
It's a great town.
It's surely in the back of Dan Jarvis's mind. He's been the Labour MP here since 2011. Do you worry that they're going to vote UKIP at the next election?
We shouldn't be complacent about the fact that a resurgent UKIP could provide a significant challenge for us, and we've got to make sure that they don't do that.
The big issue here is immigration, in a town that he says feels left behind. And he's worried Labour doesn't currently have the answers.
We're not getting it quite right just yet, because we haven't demonstrated to the public that we understand their concerns. I don't think that we were able to do that in the previous Parliament, and I think there's still a specific concern that people look at us and don't take it as seriously as they take it. We can't ever afford to go into a general election with the public thinking that we don't take the issue of immigration seriously.
Diane Abbott doesn't seem to think there should be an immigration target. You do?
I think if you're trying to achieve anything, it's useful to have a target because it's quite a useful way marker as to whether you're making progress. So my own view is that there should be some sort of target. I think it's a bit early to say precisely what that should be or how it should work. But my instinct is if you want to demonstrate to the public that you take this very seriously, the notion that you should have some sort of target is the right one.
Suzanne Evans arrived by train, but the plan is to park tanks on the lawns of places like this. Fresh from coming second in UKIP's recent leadership contest, she's now the chair of the party's policy committee. That's why we invited her to get a taste of what people in Barnsley think.
Nigel Farage, oh, that's great. Thanks.
I think UKIP is a fantastic party. I think it's a party that sticks up for the working class people. I think they are standing for the beliefs of the people in the north of England more than in the south of England.
Her impromptu canvassing session here went well, but the challenge for the new leader, Paul Nuttall, will be to break the voting habits of generations of Labour supporters.
With Paul Nuttall as our new leader, we have a real opportunity here. A Bootle man, Liverpool, working class accent, a guy who's grown up in the north of England and can talk to people in a different way that perhaps Nigel Farage did.
But people here aren't stupid, are they? If Nigel Farage couldn't do it, why will Paul Nuttall, who just happens to have a northern accent, make any difference?
I think Paul can reach out more. And I think with Nigel standing down as leader, I think also there will be more people in the front line of UKIP. We've, I think perhaps rightly sometimes been criticised for being a one-man band. I think that's going to change very swiftly and very dramatically, and I think we've seen that already.
So will you have a target list here in the north?
Yes, absolutely. And I think we'll be looking to target in particular those seats where there's a Labour Member of Parliament who doesn't want to leave the European Union, but his constituents or her constituents want to get out. They've got to be our top priorities, particularly if we're looking at constituencies where we ran Labour a close second in the general election.
UKIP came second to Labour in 44 constituencies in last year's general election, and that was before people in most of those areas then voted this year to leave the EU. With that in mind, Paul Nuttall predicts his party will have at least 10 MPs after the next one.
There is no flaw under the Labour vote. The connection between these voters and the Labour Party brand has become so weak. The party for so long has dismissed their concerns or not paid sufficient attention to them. His projection is probably realistic, right? That's probably like a central case, but it could be much worse. And even if it's lower, it's still probably going to be a disaster for Labour because a big chunk of working class voters will go UKIP, and that means the seat will go Tory because the Tory vote stays solid, the working class vote splits.
If voters here have felt forgotten by Westminster, they may want to be careful what they wish for. Places like this will become a battleground for two parties who see their support as key.